Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Quad. I am Chasmus, and I'm joined by the terrific trio of Tangy, Tarask, and Ice9 Dota. How are we doing, gentlemen?
Good.
Okay.
Just okay, Andy.
Yeah, dude. Michigan
Michigan
lost
Dota.
yesterday. Michigan lost yesterday.
Oh,
Now
that's right.
Michigan
Against
football lost to
Ohio
Ohio
State.
State.
They got robbed. I'm sorry,
They got
Andy. They got
they got
robbed.
robbed.
Regardless,
Nah, they lost fair and square, but whatever.
regardless, this is the Quad. This week, we're talking about Dota. We are joined by three different coordinators, or just the two, and then Taras joining us from the community side to fill us in on what we're
Tangy
missing.
kind of cheats because he's
He does
kind of
both. Yeah. Filthy cheater. Oh, I have my audio gun. That's going to be some feedback. Whoopsie doodle. Anyways, gentlemen, we have a pretty busy day today talking about all things collegiate Dota. Let's just kick it off at the top, looking at the top teams, because as the fall season comes to an end this week and then any makeup games the week after, we're really looking forward to the spring season. Well, the fall season is more for seeding and placement in the spring. Spring is where it kicks up, and it's the one that kind of matters. So I know that for some of our schools, myself representing UCSC, Tangy at Michigan, and then Ice9 at Tulsa, not the best openings that we were hoping for, to put it lightly. So we'll be looking towards the future and specifically looking at all the teams across the region. So why don't we start with the West?
I think the West is the strongest conference, bar
Easily.
none. Easily. Like California is always known for fielding really just quality teams. Last year, actually, every single California team made it to the playoffs. That's really impressive. They didn't have any standout teams. That is unlike this year, they have everyone's favorite UCD, and I got to give a shout out to CSU Long Beach as well. Quan's been bothering me about like disrespect or something like that. I was like, all right, dude, whatever. But yeah, those are probably the top two teams, and then you have you got UCLA, you got Berkeley, you got UCSC, and then you got San Diego, and I'm sure I'm missing one more. Irvine, the new guys,
Yep.
also looking really strong. So definitely West looking really strong. I guess the second best conference, in my opinion, would be East One, which has Cornell, UConn, Stony Brook, and RET. I actually had like UConn, RIT, or not RIT. I had UConn, Cornell, and Stony Brook. I knew all three of those teams were probably going to do pretty well this year. But RIT has really surprised me. They said that they were hoping to do well this year, but I don't think anyone thought that they were actually going to be leading the division right now.
Now,
So
correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of those teams you just mentioned have pretty different rosters than they did last year. I know that I believe Cornell underwent a pretty big roster change, and RIT, is that right? Because the big killer in collegiate Dota is roster changes. When you get super used to a roster and the leaders and all the people you're kind of relying on, and then they just graduate, right? So just talk a little bit about, because I know you're familiar with those teams, how losing key players really has affected them.
well, I can't really talk about Cornell because they actually like kept the same roster
Cornell
from
kept
last.
all five?
Yeah, no, they kept
They lost their
four
offlaner,
of their
Bogey.
yeah, they lost their offlaner, but they got a new player called Sasquatch, and he's pretty good. But they kept like 4 out of 5 players from like their top 4 run last year. As for RIT, I'm pretty sure they kept 3 players, and then one of their players came from Division Two, so they were already familiar with him, and then they had another new guy who was a freshman or something like that, if I recall correctly. But it's definitely a killer when you gotta field new players. I'm having that experience right now. I have like T1, who a lot of people know.
Hello,
He's
T1E.
he's really busy with just like he's trying to see if he can stay for the next couple, like trying to find a place to stay the next couple of years. So he actually hasn't played since our opening series. Not only that, but Amir and Boots and Cats, who both were on our
Boots and Cats was solid, right?
second place. What's up?
Boots and Cats was solid, right? I think I remember him from
Yes,
I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
him
But
from
so
pretty good.
last year.
so Boots and Cats is like 6K, and Amir is like mid 5K. Both of those like really good stuff in Dota, right? And Legion scene. But both of them haven't again, they haven't played since our opening series because Boots and Cats has been like having interviews and stuff. He like went to New York a couple weeks ago, and then Amir's just been busy with. He didn't even want to play this year, but I convinced him. So we've had to like bring in like 2 new freshmen, and then we've had to bring up Lim from Division 2 last year, and also Kyle from Division 2 last year, and both of them are also like super busy. So we've just been like forfeiting all our games. It's just like, all right, whatever. But definitely definitely plan on rounding them up for second half of the season. That's what we're looking forward to.
So let's move into the Midwest, like you were talking about, because Michigan is in Midwest 1, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah. Michigan, yes, Midwest 1.
And so Joe and Andy, you guys know the Midwest regions pretty well. Joe being in 2 and Andy in 1. So I guess you guys talk about the strength of your own and your rivals' just divisions. Yeah.
You want to start, Andy, or?
I feel like I've been talking way too long. So
okay, cool.
Cool.
Yeah. UT Austin was like a huge shocker this year. Like, I was expecting teams to be better than they were last year. Like, just a like overall increase in quality, but like they actually just like shocked me, like with how well they played together. Like, that's reflected in the fact that they haven't lost yet. So that they're 6-0. So they're definitely the team to beat from our division. I think they'll make a playoff run. So I'm looking forward to that. They all seem like pretty nice guys. And then, the 2 Colorado teams also showing strong. Andy, and then, Tulsa, unfortunately, much like Michigan, we were at the bottom of the barrel for a while there. So
do you want to retell your story that you told us before we came live? That you guys got wrecked for the first 3 weeks?
Oh yeah. So we played against we opened against UT Austin, actually, I think is what it was. Our first 3 matches were against UT Austin, Denver, and Boulder, who were the top 3 in our
currently.
division.
Yeah,
who they haven't lost none of those. I don't think any of them have lost games to teams outside of those 3 in our division. So that was rough. Like we played against Austin the first week and just got absolutely demolished. And then I think we went against Denver next. I think we went against Boulder next, actually. And then we were like, okay, well, we lost the first week. We can still round out. We can still get first in the division. If things go well, we can win all out here. And we lost, and then we lost again the week after, and we're just like, we thought that we just became terrible or something, like over summer.
Overnight.
We forgot how to play Donut, guys. What do we do?
Yeah, we were just like, okay, either we just got really terrible, or like everyone else is just way better than last year, which that could be the case. I feel like everyone is significantly better than last year.
I've talked to a bunch of coordinators so far this year, and the general consensus is everyone across the board has gotten better. There is the kind of truth to those teams got that much better. I'm not saying that you just got that much worse, but
yeah. Well, I mean, one thing that happens is like we were talking about returning players is this kind of an interesting situation because last year we had one player that was last year we had 3 American players, 2 international students, but one of them is obscenely good at English, so no communications problems at all there. The other person's from Vietnam and a little shaky sometimes, but it wasn't too much of an issue. But then I had a lot of arguments with our last player, with one of our American players, our American support player, and he actually graduates in this semester, so he didn't play with us again. And the difference between having him and having another SEA player who has kind of some communication troubles has actually been mind-bogglingly huge, compared to what I would have expected. I was like, okay, we're trading him out for a higher MMR SEA player, so I just figure it'll be fine. And then, but just communication's important.
Yes.
So
can attest.
Yeah, that's been a bit of a struggle for us. Is getting through our communication issues. And I think that's it's getting better over time again, but it's still probably our biggest weakness right now. So
We'll definitely talk about communication a bit more as we delve a bit further into the quad here, but I do want to throw it over to Rask, our resident Canadian, so he could break down the North for us and give us his picks from there.
I'd have to go with North for obvious reasons as the strongest region because they have UBC, last year's champions, and Team University of Toronto, the only team to take a game off of UBC. So, and there's Waterloo, who's always kind of not really god tier, but they're kind of just at the edge there. The East, I would kind of count in North sometimes, but I don't know.
actually, I have one real quick thing to say about that Waterloo. Is I know Waterloo. I know the guys on Waterloo. And they actually lost some key players this last.
That sucks.
This last year. I think that's like, I think that's a big difference because like they made a decent run last year, right? They
hit top 16.
16.
So, yeah.
Yeah. They I know they lost their captain at least.
Oh, that's killer.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, that's
I'm looking, and that it looks like 3 new guys were thrown in. That's tough to come back from.
It was Shakti. Shakti, that was his name. Shakti isn't there anymore, and he was the captain, and like I think he was at least 5, maybe 5.5, and like he was definitely the leader of the team, and I think that hit them pretty hard. But yeah, maybe the new guys, maybe they'll show up.
Maybe you can always hope.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so with every region now discussed, I want one team from each person. Who will be making playoffs? And try to surprise me a little. Don't just give me the Davis.
Don't just say
UT
UBC.
Austin, UBC. Just give us a team and explain your rationale a bit. Maybe it's a sleeper. Maybe it's just overshadowed by the higher guys up in the division. But I want to hear some interesting discussion on the picks. So whoever wants to start, go for it.
Well, all right. I guess I hate to say this, but Michigan State. I think they're pretty good, actually.
Oh, that must have been so hard for you, Henry.
They're okay, dude. I mean, Michigan State last year, they were like completely just god awful. Honestly, I'm not gonna.
No, yeah, I'm with you there. They were not
really bad. And this year, it's a completely different roster. I'm pretty sure they're all like 5 Chinese guys and just found they all go to Michigan State and they're just like, all right, let's form a team. And it's always bitter losing to your rival, but they're definitely a good team. So I can see them making top 4. But actually we didn't talk about Midwest 1, but so UIUC is another really good school. Last year they got disqualified. I don't remember how or why. They got disqualified.
I think they subbed in a player that wasn't on their roster, and they screwed up the subbing. It was something silly crap that they pulled, and honestly, they deserved the ban just for how stupid it was. It's basically like, oh yeah, we got this player, and he's this player. No, he's not that player. He's a sub. No, he's this player. He's clearly not that player. Why don't you just do the sub thing? No, it's fine. You're gonna get disqualified. Oh no, it's fine. You're disqualified. What the hell, man? Why'd you disqualify us?
Yeah, things like that are pretty straightforward.
We told you we would disqualify you.
Yeah. So regardless, they're looking pretty strong this year, as Andy's saying. Currently sitting at 5-0. Are they playing Michigan State this coming week?
Yeah, I think they played them in the last game of the season. So
that'll be a nice one to watch.
It'll be fun to watch. And then you got Purdue and Wisconsin. Honestly, a lot of the teams, you can pretty much assume three of those wins are all gimmies, because I know Minnesota has the same problem as we do, which is we can't find time, or we're trying to schedule everything in this last week. Yeah, it's just it's pretty frustrating. And then I know Tennessee Tech, they were just playing this for fun, so. They weren't really trying to win or anything like that. So,
a story about that, but we'll get to that later. It's interesting stuff happens in CSL.
Yeah, so pretty much, I only see probably I know Purdue's usually pretty decent as well. I'm not sold on Wisconsin because I don't know. I haven't played them or anything like that. So pretty much in Midwest, you have like 3 teams that are decent. Yeah. But we were talking about like who can make top 4, right? So
Michigan State, that's your pick?
yeah, I guess Michigan State,
Their gritted teeth.
Michigan State, UCD, Cornell, and UBC. Those are my 4 picks right now.
Wow, alrighty. Well, throw it to
real quick.
Yeah, throw it to Jeff.
Oh, sorry.
Go for it.
Real quick, before we jump to him, Andy, how do you feel about the fact that Michigan State has their name as undefeated Spartan since the beginning of the season? And have gone on to fulfill that.
I promise you, as soon as they lose a single game, I don't care if they win the series after that, as soon as they lose one game, the title of the article is going to be not undefeated Spartan.
Good, perfect.
A bitter article from Andy, just like, no longer undefeated.
Yeah, dude, that'd be nice. That'd be dope.
The banner's a salt shaker.
Oh, yes.
I'm looking forward to it, Andy. Alrighty, Tarask, I want to hear your playoff picks. Give it to me.
Unsurprisingly, UBC, but probably McGill would be my sleeper pick with Cornell, University of Maryland, and let's see, where are they? I would go with Michigan State, but I just imagine like in the first half of the season, like it's always like mixed brackets because we based it off of regions, and then the second half of the season is based off of where you seed based off the first half. So I just imagine these guys, they come in, they steamroll the first half of the season, and it's like, okay, we can take it easy for the second half, and then they lose one series, and it's like, what the hell, guys? Why'd we lose? Then they lose another game. It's like, why'd we lose, guys? What's going on? So unless they like kick it up a notch or just take it seriously for the entire second half of the season, I just imagine them either getting more challenge than they bargained for, or I don't know, they just automatically win the playoffs. And then probably UC Davis. Yeah, I'd go for Davis Aggies. They'd probably be my 4th pick. Last year, I'm surprised they didn't get farther. I think they got top 8.
They got top 16. I was talking to Ian about it, Lucky 57, who, they're 7K player. Whoa! Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna give him shit for it, but
lucky man.
What he said was like he honestly just like messed up, was way too cocky. There was like
cockiness in CSL? No way.
If I remember correctly, he was like, "Yo, guys, we can beat this guy's Storm Spirit," and then they lost twice in a row. Just like, well,
they did the PPD. It's like, okay, give them Storm Spirit, we'll beat them. It's like, guys, we lost game 1 to the Storm Spirit. Let's just ban it. No, give them Storm Spirit again.
Yeah, it's not double elimination, unfortunately, so can't do that.
Throwing over to you, Joe. Let me hear it.
My picks were UBC and Cornell, as we've seen, as we know, those guys are good, and then also UC Davis and UT Austin. I think actually, my sleeper pick is going to be Michigan, not Michigan State, but actual Michigan, because
it's a bold move, Cotton.
Yeah.
I believe in T1E. I won't say anything about Andy, but I believe in T1E.
What are you talking about? I'm about to come back. I'm about to lead my team to top 4. I'm about to win the entire thing. Talking smack.
Yeah.
Coordinators just taking shots today.
Oh yeah, but no, I've been watching T1E play, and I think once they actually have their team playing, I don't know if they'll roll through second season, but I'm sure I imagine they'll make playoffs at least. I'd be more surprised if they didn't.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's not really that hard to make playoffs, I think, right? It's top 32 teams.
Top 3 from each division, right? Something like that.
I'm not actually sure, but last year there were 32 teams that made the playoffs, and I don't know how. I think there were 50 teams in all, or something like that. So.
Basically, I think that by the time playoffs come around, I imagine if you've got all your players playing seriously, who's the captain? Who's the captain for your team? Is it is T1E gonna? Okay, it's gonna be you. Okay, well then, sorry. I guess I have to change my
pick.
Damn, dude.
Yep.
Relax
No.
a bit.
I think you guys will be fine. If,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
played with
just get-
T1E before, and I was talking to Zingle before the season started, and we were discussing like what the chances of the Michigan Werewolves coming back without Zingle. It's like, okay, like, how do you think you're gonna do? It's like, well, if anyone can carry a team of bads, it's T1E. So he does it on a regular basis in ranked, so he'll be fine. So I think that's pretty much the only reason why you guys are at the bottom of the division, just because he's not there.
Oh, we haven't really played
forfeit
either.
every game.
We've played, okay, so besides the Michigan State game, which I didn't even play in because I'm not supposed to play in games until second semester, we've played like one kind of formal scrimmage with Purdue with like a player that wasn't with me like playing in it, but we didn't have T1 or Amir in it. So pretty much we're like pretty much like what's going on right now is like I'm just picking out of like a group of 8 players,
Right.
and then we just try to find a combination that gets 5
Throw 'em
points,
in
which
there.
is never good because then you're playing with some people
Different
one
people.
time. Yeah, and it's just like so.
And that's
Yeah,
before even thinking about roles.
Yeah, exactly. And so
I just
like,
imagine the draft comes around. It's like, okay, who wants to play carry? I could play off lane. It's like, okay, who wants to play mid?
that's pretty much what happened.
not me, guys.
I mean, it was just like we played against Purdue without T1 or Amir, and it was just like we didn't do badly, but it was still like having those 2 players would have definitely been like a lot. Yeah, it would have been helpful.
I think the like you have the best kind of like of high MMR player to have on your team. Like aside from like the leader thing, like we saw with BSJ, like if they're not a leader, you have
The
you have the
playmaker.
next best thing, which is like T1E on the big playmaker, the person that's really good at snowballing. Because like you just get that guy that'll like crush mid. Like when we played against Michigan last year, like our mid player is so used to like he's really good at beating players that are worse than him.
Mm.
And then he had to play against T1E and was like, I don't know what to do. Like it was really rough. Like but like yeah, like T1E can just like easily completely take over a game with like, just like those generic like alchemist or like
His
TA
puck is
just
terrifying.
yeah, like things that just like will just like win. Like he'll just win the game by himself for the first like 30 minutes if necessary. Like depending on the team you're playing against.
Mm.
So yeah, better hope to not play against like UBC and stuff, and you'll be fine.
I mean, we've like tried setting up scrims with them and stuff, but it hasn't gone through because everyone's busy.
Yeah, I actually got a scrim in with UBC. Well, I guess not with my CSL team. It was like they asked to scrim with my other team.
Oh yeah.
The Ice Nine stack.
Yeah, our like actual like, team that we play like qualifiers and stuff with, and like, yeah, I was impressed. Like, I mean, they lost. They had a lot of big roster change, but they're pretty good. Like, still, so I have confidence in them. I believe.
UBC is just like at the top level of all collegiate esports. It's like it's ridiculous how consistent they are. I don't
think it's like-
understand.
How do you change
It's
that
just
many
like
players?
Yeah, I think it's just their esports club is really, really
Huge.
like
Big
established.
and well funded. Like,
Yeah, and actually makes people want to go to the events. Like for example, Michigan is a big school, right? It's like it's out there. But our esports club isn't really. It's not very well organized. I don't want to bash it or anything like that,
Right.
but like
Could
the
be fair.
first event we had, it was pretty badly done. Honestly, I didn't have a lot of fun at all, and it was just like it's really hard to like establish like people who want to keep playing with those players if you're not having fun at like the event or something like that. I don't know.
Like I think another really big factor though is also school size is what you get because like UBC is 60,000 students. Like it's gonna be a lot easier. Like you're gonna have a lot better of a time finding enough like more good Dota players, with 6,000 than even Michigan. You do have what 50,000, 40 something thousand students at Michigan. Where like Tulsa we have like 3,000. And we're just like, all right, let's see which people play Dota.
Well,
Like-
you compare UBC where they have an esports program, like a well-defined
Established.
esports program, and
Yeah, compared to
they have jerseys.
Yeah,
Where compared to other
sponsors.
schools, like, okay, let's see if we can find enough people that play Dota. and then we'll see if we can have a team this year. Like with UBC or other schools of that size, they can actually go through the players, be like, okay, you're not that good. Okay, you're 2K. You just started playing Dota. I know you just play League of Legends all the time. You're not playing on our team. Where other schools, like, they can only get as many players as they can.
Yeah, like we had that problem of like this year. Like I was hoping to get some new find some new players this year, and there were like 2 or 3 people, and like one of them was when I asked him like what MMR he was just like, oh, I don't have an MMR. I've never played ranked.
Like, that's motivating.
I'm like, yeah, you might have difficulty on the competitive team then, like stuff like that. It's just like big MMR gaps.
Yeah, same. We had like one new player come in this year, and he was like some freshman, and he was like 3K, and I was just like, I gotta take what I can get, So there's nothing else.
Yeah.
But at least he's trying. He's trying, right? Like, so, I'd rather have like some 3K guy who's willing to participate in every game than some dude who just like shows up from time to time. You can't count on him or something like that. So
I take a 3K player that puts in the effort and tries over a 5K guy that just shows up. It's like, hey, I'm ready to play Dota. It's like, have you played it all this week? Have you like showed up for scrims? Like, no, I could do this. It's no problem. It's like, and then he loses. Like, okay, I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we haven't had enough players to actually play with him, so it's been pretty rough. So
yeah.
Well, let's delve more into the collegiate esports scene, because this is a pretty big deal. I know the rage in Southern California is just to talk about UC Irvine's new esports arena. All of their competitive programs are doing super well. Their Overwatch team is great. Their League team is good as always. Dota, they're mid-pack of the West. Actually, I think they're 3rd right now. Is that...
Mid-pack of the West is like 1st place in another division. Let's be
honest. The West is a grinder, but honestly, they're one of my sleepers. It's going to be tough for them to beat Davis and Long Beach for that matter, because a lot of people are talking about Davis, not so much Long Beach. I really think that if Irvine puts in the grind and puts in the effort, they have the support from the school. I think they could make a pretty deep run if they put in the effort. I think they could be top 8.
I was talking to Ella, and she like works there. That's their coordinator, by the way. And she was saying like they like do this like LAN tournament every 2 weeks where they play together, and they just like play a lot, honestly, together. So like,
cool.
They definitely have like the time and the chemistry, and they have the resources. Definitely just seeing if they can put it all together, I think. If you watched like UCD versus Irvine, they were definitely competitive in that series. And there was like game 2 where they absolutely just stomped on Davis. It was really funny to watch. It was like 16-1 at one point, I think. And it was just like, all right, well. But yeah, Irvine's definitely one of those teams to watch out for, I think. Even though it's their first year. Same thing with Denver and Colorado. Both teams pretty good.
It seems like this year is the year of like half the teams in the league are teams to watch out for. And it's scary.
$150 is no joke, let's be honest here.
Like, yeah. It's scary, man. Like I'm worried. Last year was like playoffs. I was like, okay, like these are the teams to worry about. Like we lost to Michigan last year in playoffs. Like otherwise, like I think we could have made it deeper. Like if we didn't have to play against them. Like like did Michigan lose in top 2 or 4 last year? They lost top 2, I thought. Yeah,
they lost to UBC.
Yeah, I'm just so like, and now I'm just like, I'm looking at like I look at these teams, I'm just like, I don't want to play against like any of these people. Like anyone that has like any team that's like over 3 wins, I'm just like, I look at their players and I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be bad.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of quality teams this year.
Do you guys think that was like? Do you think it was that like that's because of the increased increased entry fee and prize pool? Like,
I would say that's half of it. I would also say, as time progresses, people just get better at Dota. I mean, look at the pro scene. That happens all the time.
And different schools are going to pop out. Like, for example, like I would say the way CSL spreads, right, is through teams that already have a CSL team, or like teams that like tell other people about CSL. And that's actually what happened with I actually told Vanderbilt about CSL. Like there was another college league last year called AVGL They had like a god awful
yeah.
website,
Yeah.
but it was still a league. And like I was talking to Vanderbilt about them because we were too busy to play in AVGL because we wanted to focus on CSL instead. And I was like, hey, have you guys heard of like the CSL thing? And they were like, no, we haven't actually. So, you know, I guess that's just another way how it's growing, but it's growing really slowly because
I mean, like I didn't know about CSL. Like we had a team last year, but I didn't. Well, I knew about CSL, but I knew about it in like a StarCraft context.
Yep.
Like I was in StarCraft too, and like you knew about it like years ago. I'm like, oh, CSL, that's really cool that they're doing like collegiate StarCraft now. Cool. And then, but like years later, I've been playing Dota for years, and then like junior year, I find out that CSL has Dota, and I'm like, oh, this has been going on for a while, man. And wish I had known about this. So, and like I didn't even find out about it because I only found out about it because like a friend who one of my friends started an esports club, and that's why they started doing all the CSL stuff and trying to get funding and making esports more popular. So good on them, I guess.
I don't know. Maybe we need to get someone in the CSL to run from school to school with leaflets, like, "Come play in our league, please."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just finding people was it UT Austin or something? But I mean, even if you have like a Dota team, or even if you have a team, you don't know if you don't know if there'll just be like a 7K player just like that goes to your school and just they don't know about CSL. I think that's what happened with UT Austin or one of the other Texas teams. They were just like, yeah, oh, we had a 7K player, didn't know about it at all until we were already roster locked for playoffs. Or like some Texas team said that to me, and I was just like, man, that's rough. Like, what do you do other than just like post flyers everywhere and hope that someone sees it?
Stand in the hallway. We need Dota players.
Yeah.
Which hallway? It's huge here.
Like, we just put like posters on every door to every building, like every class building on campus, so that just everyone would see them going to class. Like that's how we found players.
We got that sweet region chat in Dota now.
Oh yeah, right.
True.
Let's go.
Oh, good lord.
Quality stuff there. Yeah.
Let me tell you, the San Diego one is a bit less functional than you would expect. There's like 8 different languages at any given time. It's region chat. Thanks, Mel. Anyways, diverting the conversation a bit, it might seem a bit redundant to talk about the meta because essentially it's over. We have the huge patch coming out right after the next major, but Dota 3, I'm hyped.
Let's go.
But I do want to talk about just why this meta developed the way it did, because we did notice a slight difference between the collegiate scene and the pro scene, and me and the other casters have talked it to death. Comfort picks are almost the name of the game in CSL. You don't want to be putting your players on something they're not comfortable with. So let's just delve a bit into the meta. Specifically, I'm thinking the prominence of Warlock, Slardar, and Ogre Magi, and then more odd cores. Like we saw last pick Lifestealer in I think 3 of the 4 games last week. It was... I just want to delve a bit into the meta, because this is one of the weirder ones and longer ones that we've had.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to talk about specifically pro meta or the CSL meta? Because those are way different.
They're vastly different. Obviously CSL...
Maybe how the pro meta affects the CSL meta?
Sure. We'll start there, and I'm sure we'll branch off into something else.
Can I start off? Can I start off on this one? Warlock is such a good hero. Dear God, that is my favorite. I remember seeing something about during TI. I think it was PPG's post TI video about drafting, and he was talking about how Warlock was just so good, and this was before Warlock became the best hero in Dota. That how good of a counter it was to Shadow Demon, and so then I just started picking Warlock, or I just started having our supports play Warlock in every game, and it's just it just does everything. Shadow Word is an incredible ability. Fatal Bonds plus ulti is Fatal Bonds alone is just if you have the right draft with Mirana or something else, you'll just you'll annihilate a team. If you get a good Fatal Bonds, such a good first pick hero. Just does everything.
I actually think Timbersaw is the reason why Warlock rose to prominence, because obviously Timbersaw, he's the sniper of this patch, and Timbersaw is just a pain in the ass in any lane he goes to. And if you don't have the heroes that can deal with Timbersaw, you just automatically lose that lane, and you can just automatically lose that game. Warlock basically counters everything that Timbersaw does. You put Shadow Word on him. He just runs around and is like, I'm losing health. I need to run into creeps or I'm going to die. You put Fatal Bonds on him and then he's just going to die. Like, everything that Warlock does is really good against what Timbersaw does. And if you look at the other heroes that are really big in the pro scene, like Ogre Magi, for instance, or Mirana. For Mirana, she started as this like support, and then people realized like, oh, we can just run her as a mid, we can run her as a core. Like, she was run as safe lane for Russian teams for a while, but then they realized that was awful, so now she's just run as mid. And I think this patch is basically all about winning lanes or just those lane winning heroes. Like, that's why support PA is a thing. Like, I saw this showing up in pubs, and I was like, what the hell is this?
That was a rough week.
What are these items? Like, what is going on? And then she's just throwing daggers, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, this is awful. This is so bad, but it's so goddamn annoying.
Yeah.
Like, that's all that Ogre Magi is. He just runs into a lane, throws Ignite on someone, punches them, and it's like, it's not good. It's not, like, when it's not killing anyone. It's just really, really annoying.
I mean, like, it's, like, I think also a big part of that is, like, Bloodlust is an incredible spell.
Oh, God.
Oh my god.
Like,
Level 4
the thing
Bloodlust
like,
is a
Bloodlust,
Moonshard.
Yeah, like, Bloodlust is so good for enabling your carries. Like, Bloodlust lets you just, like, do insane things with, like, so many different heroes, like Sven. Sven is incredible with Bloodlust. The extra move speed and attack speed is, like, it's perfect for him.
Oh, that
like,
move speed is so nice.
Like, just basic, like, almost every, like, especially those, like, heroes that you want to kite, like Sven, but, like, almost every right-click carry just gets, like, so much of a benefit from it. Because, like, you know, even if you're not, like, easily kiteable like Sven, like, if you're playing, like, an anti-mage or, like, a Juggernaut or something, and you're just that much faster and you have more attack speed, you're just going to get a lot more damage in just because you don't have to spend as much time, like, running after them or, you know, whatever. Like, like that hero...
That, but, like, Ogre Magi right now, like, if you have, like, some 2K support player, you just be like, yo, here's Ogre Magi, just use Bloodlust on me, and your job is done. Like, it's pretty easy play.
Well,
now you too could be as good as Cinderin.
Exactly.
And because it's tanky. Like, that's a really big, like, especially I think, like you're saying with like CSL and like playing, especially with lower MMR players. Like, I picked, like, at one point I just like when my supports were struggling a lot, I was like, I'm just gonna pick them Abaddon and Ogre Magi. Yep. We're just gonna not die. You guys just are gonna not die, and we're gonna win the game, because if you don't die, we'll win, kind of, you know what I mean?
You just like
I
give
actually
Ogre
wrote an
Magi
article on pretty much like what the recent trend was on the meta lately, and like Ogre Magi, like, this is not including bans because unfortunately I don't have access to ban information, but Ogre Magi has been picked in 56.5% of CSL games the past 2 weeks. That's it? That doesn't include bans, bro.
Bans have to be the
other.
Not only that, but he has a 62.9% win rate.
Which
like,
is
that's
absurd.
Insane. Yeah, that's insane, especially
crazy hero.
He's been picked. And then you have Invoker, who's also been picked a lot, 24.2% of games, with a 73% win rate, which is pretty insane as well. And then everyone's favorite carry apparently is Juggernaut, who's been picked in 35.5% with a 59.1% win rate. So, you know, obviously, like, pro games do have an effect on CSL, but, like, you know,
I think like on the, like, we were talking about the Ogre Magi, like, thanks for those stats, Andy, that, like, the flip side of that, like, oh, well, this, you know, the support is, like, really strong, very tanky, like, pretty like simple, easy to play hero, and then we get our flip side of that, which is Invoker, which is, like, you know, arguably, like, the hardest hero to learn in Dota, like, that where you get not only, like, you also get, like, the I want our star to shine kind of heroes, like we were talking about with, like, T1E, where, like, you want, like, if you have your 6.5k or, like, your 7k or whatever, you want them on a hero that can just outplay and just, like, demolish an enemy team kind of thing. And, like, Invoker's really, I think that shows, like, why Invoker has that, like, 70+% win rate, is, like, you just get your star player on him and he just goes to town. So
I bet that win rate would be higher if Ogre Magi wasn't a hero. Because I wonder how many of those games that Invoker's lost where there's just an Ogre Magi running at him at level 1 with Ignite.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 8 armor. What are you going to do, bro? Get back to your tower. This is my lane now.
Yeah, I mean, because, like, it's, like, especially, like, I know that's one thing think is harder for CSL teams. Like seems to be harder in CSL to do because like just like when you're not higher, like the lower you skill like you get in Dota. Like I'm not saying CSL is low skill, but it's not like professional tier. Right. Is like the better that gets basically, where you just like run a support at like the enemy core, just like from the very beginning and just like take them out of like the early game basically. It's like sure you've got an Ogre Magi, but like running at your mid, but like you should like in theory you should be able to take advantage of that by like maybe pressuring the safe lane because now either like they don't have like an extra support there or something like that. But like I think that's also harder to do in CSL.
I would say it depends on what team you're going against. Like if you're, for example, like the BSJ team last year, Mr. Slam Jamma's fan club. I think with teams like that, where they have the 1-star player that clearly shines above the others, you just want to like throw as many heroes at that 1-star player and just try to ruin his life. Like just throw support PA at him, throw Ogre Magi at him, just try to ruin his life. That's why he was on lifesteal all the time, because it's like they throw all these things at him and then he just rages away and just walks away. And his team TPs in, then they turn the fight and everyone dies.
Same thing for Juggernaut. And I think actually that's a really good point because that's exactly why Michigan were so like a big part of why Michigan was so good last year, because you had T1E and Zingle.
Exactly.
Zingle wants to run at people. That's his job.
No.
Zingle wants to run at people.
Everyone focused on T1E. No one focused on Zingle. Even Zingle,
he just gets to
like
farm.
pros and stuff. Zach would just farm the entire game. Everyone would focus on T1. Zach would pull it through at the end, even if he does throw sometimes. And
sometimes.
I give him shit for that. But he is a really good player. He's 6K for a reason, and like when you have like one 6K player take all the attention and still do well, and then you have the other 6K player pull through with a bunch of farm that comes out of nowhere,
like
you're bound to success.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to us last year when we played against them. We were like our mid player, like I said, our mid player was struggling, and so he just he was just like, guys, I need help, like please. And so like we just focused on we just abandoned the off lane almost, like pressuring their safe lane, and just like we're just like, okay, let's just try to win mid and safe lane, and then Zingle just had perfect free farm and just completely destroyed us like 20 minutes later.
Yeah, so you got like 4 heroes mid for 4 minutes, and then suddenly there's a Huskar that has armlet, and he's already taken Roche, and he's pressuring the tier 2 bottom.
Yeah, it's
just single things.
Disgusting Huskar.
You just if you're a good player, you can do a lot with free farm. It's really So having two 6K players is a good place to be in CSL. Surprisingly, wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, they should.
Well, let's talk about UCD then. 3 former or current leaderboard players apparently, I think, and like the rest of their teams.
That's kind of insane.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
Leaderboard also pretty much means 6K, by the way.
No, you have to be 6K.
Yeah, you'd have to be 6K.
It's like 60. Is it 6,500 now? I think for leaderboard. I'm not actually sure. It's like it's up there, I think. But yeah.
The one thing I noticed with Davis though is they seem to get either cocky or just underprepare, because they've dropped games against teams they really shouldn't. Like they dropped the game to Berkeley, and I know we were talking about the strength of Berkeley over the past few years, but this Berkeley squad's different, right? UT Austin hasn't dropped a game, like period. They come prepared. Davis has dropped 3. So they're still undefeated, they're still good, but I'm curious on I don't think they could continue playing like this.
Yeah, Davis is definitely not, they're definitely beatable. Very beatable. Like if you watch, I'm not gonna spoil anything because I feel like that would be
Tangy's got hidden strats.
Yeah, I got hidden strats against them. Like it's very obvious like what you should do against them, because I will say this, they're a very greedy team. And you can counter greed by just like running at them.
Well, they picked Spectre so much last year.
Well, this year, like it looks like they always have like a really greedy 4, and then the rest of their team. The way they win games is they know how to farm, and they know, like their game sense is really good, right? Because they're 6K players and stuff. So like they pretty much take advantage of like a bunch of little mistakes that you would do, and then like they use that. Even though like they don't have like a really good early game, they use that to like carry themselves into the late game, and that's how they pretty much win games.
Now give it to me straight, Andy. UCSD plays them next week.
UC Davis, 2-0, easy,
Oh man, that confidence.
easy.
Yeah, I mean, you believe.
I'm kind of with you there.
Well, okay, no. Another thing is like they probably have also dropped 3 games because I know Ian was talking about like they're letting some of their like substitute players play in some of those games. So, which means pretty much they're disrespecting Berkeley for throwing in some
Oh man.
substitute players.
When we take a single game off them this week, Andy, I'll make you eat those words.
Yeah. Words have been eaten.
Can we? I don't know if this is on. I don't know if this was on the schedule. Can we talk a little bit about drafting in CSL?
Let's do it. Absolutely.
How do you want to talk about drafting in CSL?
Like I think in the context of I mean, I guess Andy, you said you're the captain, so you do the drafting for for your team, right? Okay, yeah, I guess our experiences drafting and what we think I don't know, at least I have the perspective of drafting for CSL versus drafting for my other team, kind of differences in between the two, stuff like that. Is that good enough for you to ask? That
Fair
what
enough.
you want?
So in CSL you pick your supports first, whereas this you pick your offlaner and support.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Okay.
Last year, we what we tried to do was we had our mid player who's our star player, and he really basically the guy that was good at beating people that are worse than him. So what we tried to do was we tried to plan our draft around him getting one of those snowball. I think we played Alchemist 20 games last year. And just trying to roll over your opponents, or this year, so we always saved his pick for last, every time. And I guess I want to know what Andy's thoughts are, if he has any similar thoughts with that for drafting. Do you just always try to save T1E's pick for last, or will you commit to an OD in the first phase just because it's OD? I mean, it's a first phaseable hero, as we know, just in general from pro and CSL Dota. But is it worth using that committing your player to that pick?
I would definitely. So the way I draft, I mean, I guess I'm shooting myself in the foot, but
Okay, every team we play against in the future, this is how we draft.
yeah, no, this is how I draft at least. It's I always keep my cores hidden until the later picks. I think because I have confidence that I can, make okay, so the first few picks, they're always gonna be meta picks and meta bans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. So you don't really have to if OD's in the pool, I'm gonna pick it no matter what because OD is OD. If Invoker's there, well, we don't really. Well, I'm not gonna say anything, but all right, no, we don't really play Invoker, but if Ogre Magi's there, we'll take it. If a meta hero is there, we'll take it if we can play it. If we can't play it, then we'll ban it, right? I'm sure that's how most teams work actually. So it's not just me.
I think one of the games in this last week's broadcast, there was a last pick OD. I can't say that for sure, but it sticks in my head.
It's impressive that that it made it that far with Nix and stuff.
Yeah, it just blows my mind.
I think that's kind of interesting because the way I actually I've been drafting and I drafted a lot of last year for our team, and then after we lost 3-0, I felt I wasn't sure if it was all my fault. I was failing on the drafts or something, so I let our mid player take over, and it's kind of interesting. I actually prefer going for other stuff over those meta picks OD and stuff. Maybe you'll go for it. Maybe we'll go for it sometimes, but I really like the kind of what Misery does in a lot of DC's games, and you saw a lot at TI where you just try to pick your ambiguous heroes. You pick Mirana because our team can be it's nice. We have I play Mirana. I play carry, so I usually don't get to play her, but our mid player plays Mirana, and then one of our support players also plays Mirana. So we can just pick a Mirana early, and even though it's not as meta now as it used to be, we can just play that, and then pick a PA next, and we can play that mid or carry, and just try to basically say we're gonna do whatever. You don't actually know what we want to do yet, kind of thing.
Yeah, we do the same thing. Last year there was this the Waga build for Faceless Void, so
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
it
It's
worked,
just
so- it worked if
it
you
works
played
sometimes.
around
So
it.
yeah.
If you played around it, it worked. So what we would do last year, at least in D2 where I captained, would be like we would draft like Faceless Void like first or second because like you don't know if it's off lane or a carry, and most people would just assume it's off lane. So
Yeah.
so we would do that, and then like in the later picks we'd reveal like Phoenix off lane, like dual off lane or something like that, and then like that would be our strat or something like that. So yeah, like trying to confuse your opponents with like, oh, is this hero an offlane hero or like a carry hero or something like that? It's definitely like really common with CSL. So
Yeah, and
just in drafts in general. So
I'm really glad you brought up this point. And yeah, like that's like I said, that's my favorite thing to do is because like that was our secret strat that we never got to use because like patch is gonna come and like nothing's gonna matter anymore. Was our Faceless Void mid strat. Like that's what we were gonna go for to throw people off.
Battle Cup, we had anti-mage mid against Invoker.
Dude, I love anti-mage mid. That is my favorite hero. Jam. He is hero is so good.
It's actually very strong against Invoker. So
like, oh yeah, like I played it like back when Leshrac was good. I played anti-mage mid against Leshrac. Just like, what's he gonna do? He just doesn't do damage to you. Like,
I didn't realize Leaf Eater was in the call.
Oh my god.
No, Leaf Eater. Honestly, he's a good player. He's actually terrible guys. He's like mid 4K, I think.
No, he is. Yeah, like I played with him before. He's all right, but like, it's just a meme. More than man at this point. Like,
we'll get Joey in here one of these days. So pick his brain a bit because he has some odd ideas. Everything.
Yeah, some of the UCLA broadcasts, their picks are not really good.
Oh, I flame hard.
Okay, well, I was talking to him like a couple days ago, and he was like saying like like we've all been saying like the first half doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. So they've been just trying random stuff. Like I think they went like aggro Husker tri-lane or something like that, like in one of the games, and it's just like they're just goofing around, but like. As soon as that second half starts, like they're all business. They want to get to the playoffs, and I know that like he told me that he's actually taking like a kind of coach role this year.
Yeah,
because they actually have good players.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, so definitely like UCLA, one of the teams to watch out for this second half as well. But yeah, it's definitely like every team I think will try harder in the second half. So if you think like the games are hard right now, like they're gonna get harder.
See, I think that's one of the things that was like nice is like those teams like UT Austin and stuff and like Boulder stuff that we were playing against, like those teams were like they were all in. Like those guys were not like, at least I know, like I feel like that's the level I'm gonna see next semester because like they're going to. I think they came in like wanting to win. Like
no. I think the newer teams all want to like prove themselves in the first half of the season.
Exactly.
And like it's good to have like that confidence, but like all the veteran teams are just like, we can chill out, we can test out some stuff. Second half of the season though, that's when we start. So
yeah, you have to be careful because if you go way too hard in the first half of the season, you can either show too much, you can get burned out, you can think like you said, like every team is going to pick it up in the second half of the season. So if they set it at this level for the first half of the season, the other teams pick it up, then it's like, okay, what the hell? These teams are like, we played this team and they're not this good. Why are we losing? Like they get caught into the belief like, oh, we're better than we actually are, but we're losing still. What?
Oh yeah, you actually just reminded me of like, I think my favorite thing, real quick thing about like picks and bans and stuff and drafting is, we got one of our players went and like would look at every single player's like on the opponent's rosters like before every single match, and I forget which school it was, but there was a guy whose name was Blue Ball that had over 2,000 games on Wisp, and it was just like literally, are we just like first banned Wisp, and then they instantly all chatted like GG we lost. Like they were like and then he played like bench and went like 0-7, and they were like, yeah, he can kind of play bench, but he literally doesn't play any other hero.
Plays Wisp. I'm gonna find that. Like, I think I know who you're talking about.
I can't remember exactly. Like he had an anime avatar. I remember that.
So let's be honest, half of the people have anime avatars.
Yeah, this is dope.
Half my team has anime avatars.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. But like it was blue ball at that point. Like that's why we were just like that's why we looked, because like we were like, so he saw that it was blue ball and we were just like, is he like is it actually, or is he just messing with us? You know, he's like
those people that meme.
Yeah,
that's another thing though. Like scouting, if you like, especially the first half of the season, you can make your team really hard to scout if you've just been like, you've just been like experimenting the entire time.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Random stuff. I know UBC has been experimenting with Wisp a lot lately, so I've been looking out for that.
I found the guy. He's on Pit.
no, yeah.
Nice.
That
Look him
guy.
up,
And
Joe.
then I know, so like last year, I think one of the reasons why Michigan was so scary. I don't want to keep talking about Michigan, but
Yeah, you do.
but was because they it seemed like they would just like play whatever and they would just win. Like they had like this. I remember last year, like I was watching some stupid Lone Druid game where like
God,
like refresher
yeah.
agging him. So
no,
you're
yeah.
just like, why?
With that game, don't bring up that game.
And I think they won still, but like
Oh,
it just
man.
like proves like a lot of like the teams that can win without taking it seriously, and that kind of seems like what UCD is like this year as well, where it doesn't even look like they're kind of trying, but like they're still winning. Like those are the teams that are definitely the scariest when they focus. So
Yeah, like, and like especially on that part, as far as like teams taking it seriously goes, I forget which one. It was one of the teams in our division. I think it was one of the Colorado teams. We tried to scout, and they signed up with like all or mostly Smurfs.
oh my God, no, that was Michigan State as well. I was so pissed off.
I was just like,
I was like, why, dude?
That's why that was one of the reasons I thought they were going to be bad, because like we played them like second or third or something. I'm like, okay, we've had rough games so far. Like, looks like this guy only has like 300 games of Dodo. Like, it's whatever. And then they ended up just like blowing us out. Like it wasn't like, I wouldn't say it was like overconfidence. Like it wasn't, but like we didn't expect them to be good. So like we were.
It wasn't overconfidence. We just thought they sucked.
We didn't think we were good at the time, but we thought they were like even worse. So like it was like it wasn't like felt good, but it was just like they came up with all Smurfs, and I was just like wow, like this never happened last year. I don't know what to do, like because like normally you get these like it seemed like a lot of like teams had like those like they'll have like that one player that'll have like 1,000 games on one hero. Like they're players that like are really exclusive to a couple of heroes, and like that gives you like just like a comical draft advantage if you get to just like ban those heroes first.
So, quick question for all three of you: which would you rather have on your team? High skill players with a low pool of heroes, or lower than high skill players with a huge pool of heroes?
High skill players with low pools, I think, because you can like work around that. But like,
what if that pool was like 3 heroes?
3 heroes is plenty. 3 heroes is plenty, because you have to remember, like, there's always meta heroes, and those meta heroes might not be the same as like their comfort heroes. And like, even like a high skill player who hasn't played a meta hero is still pretty strong on the meta hero, because the meta hero is meta hero. So
well, we've seen pro drafts where like we've seen a draft against EG where they just ban like every single offlane hero, and then Universe is stuck on like a Legion Commander or something.
It happens. Like when you
it is possible to completely ban out one of your players.
yeah. I remember like Puppy would get, before fight me and stuff like that. Puppy would get like banned every single game. I remember during Secret or something like that. Yeah, they would like ban Chen, Enchantress, Enigma. So
heroes. Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you're doing that, you're like giving the draft away, kind of.
You're
like,
giving them
theory. Yeah, you're giving them so many options. You're kind of you're giving them a massive advantage, and like you should be able to take advantage of that.
I think it would only be it would be especially effective against those teams that have that 1-star player, like they have that BSJ, and like they ban out the Lifesteal, they ban out like his Huskar, they ban out his Slark, they ban out Faceless Void, and then they just counterpick like his last 2 remaining heroes.
I mean, the thing is, like, I guess it depends on, like, it's like you're saying with that, it's like a big part of like how small your pool is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if your pool is only 2 heroes or like something like that, then like that's going to be really bad. But like BSJ, like that's the thing about those higher skill players. Like Andy was saying, like even if you ban out all of their signature heroes, like if you just have them playing on like a generic carry like Juggernaut, like they're still gonna be a good player. Like they're still, even if they're not on their like perfect comfort hero, they're like they should still be able to lead their team effectively. Like
Fair enough.
unless they have to like unless something weird happens with the draft and you have them on a hero they're actively uncomfortable on, I think it's okay. Because like that's where
Carry
you'll
Venge.
yeah, like that's where you start running into trouble when your star player is like not comfortable and like because like when your leader isn't on a hero they feel comfortable on, they can't lead the team as effectively because they're having to like think too much about their own individual plays. So
Okay.
yeah, but I think that's not too much of a I don't think that's like too much of a problem because like we were saying when if you ban out their like four straight BSJ heroes in a row, like I think that's okay. Like
He'll be okay.
I think that's all right.
Yeah. So we are just about out of time for this week's quad. But before we go, in honor of the horrible list that Suns fan has compiled, I want to ask all of you, which is your favorite Agnums in the game? Or what Agnums would you like added or changed? This is a thinker, so I'll start. Favorite in the game is Meepo, by far. I love that hero. But I really want to see an Agnums on PL that lets him switch to illusions. Like, he can now activate his ult and switch to an illusion.
What? That would be insane. Well, I guess depending on the cooldown and stuff, that does sound insane.
What
you
work
want
on
to play
Mantas?
Morphling PL.
Kind of like Morphling, yeah.
Okay.
That sounds extra cancer.
I want to try it.
I want it to be like Spectre because I want the illusion to replace where your hero was, so that it's more tricky. Because like it's like Morphling, then the illusion you move to where the illusion is, but then you're not where you were anymore. Spectre, if it's like more like reality, that's just confusing the other team, which is great. I like that idea. Good work, Zach.
I'm gonna have to go with Pocket Ricky. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
That's the
what have I done?
Oh god. That's like terrible meme.
My favorite
quality meme, right? Can I get a list of all the Ags heroes? Like
I need to find this. Like Agnums that I want to see is definitely something with Wisp. And it's been like suggested all over Reddit and stuff that
Easy.
but like that'd be OP, right?
That'd be pretty ridiculous.
As I know the one I would want to change right now. I was actually just talking about this earlier today. One that I would like to see change would be the Storm Spirit Ags, because like right now it's Vortex and like it's not useful at all. But like I was just talking about like
it's a niche pick.
It's very niche.
Yeah.
It's like that's a very
just like
niche. Like
I think it's good, but like it's just like you would rather have other items, and that's like the biggest thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think that but that's the problem is like if you would almost always rather have another item, then like what's the point in like building it? Like I was actually literally like I was watching Blitz stream earlier today, and like talking about how terrible the Ags upgrade for Storm is. Like that's about as good as it gets for a personality like on Storm Spirit. Anyway, the thing I would change is I would make it every time you zip you leave a remnant at the end. That's what I would you just automatically drop a remnant at the end of your zips.
That'd be ludicrously broken, but okay.
Oh, I love Storm Spirit, so yeah. I'm a little bit biased.
My favorite eggs is Nyx because he just turns into a lurker, so it's a combination of my favorite hero in Dota plus my favorite unit in StarCraft, so it's just a win-win-win. And if I was going to change any eggs, I would change Legion Commander's eggs so it's actually useful. The only time I've ever seen Legion Commander's eggs be useful is in this one garbage unranked game I played where our LC got eggs, he would run at the team, dual summon, and their entire team would dump all their ultimates on this guy. And it's like, I didn't want to say anything because like he's baiting all their ultimates. We're winning because he's baiting every single ultimate, taking 0 damage. It was
I think my favorite eggs would be Train Protectors.
Ooh,
definitely.
That is a good one.
That's
I
really
really
cool
like Treant Eggs. That's a fun one.
Just gotta get it in 40 minutes.
Yeah, you pretty much force your opponent to waste 2 slots on Gem and Quelling Blade, so
yeah, that's really annoying to play against.
It's so frustrating if you're a support, especially because they're like, oh, you gotta buy the wards, you have to have dust, and at some point, if the enemy train gets eggs, you already have 6 slots, pretty much. So
I think my favorite. Sorry, what?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. I thought I interrupted you. Sorry. Yeah, my favorite would be probably Undying. Undying, maybe
I
draw
love
was a
Undying
close second.
Zags.
Like Undying is just, who doesn't love? Actually, I got memed pretty hard yesterday in ranked, or the other day in ranked, with by a Coddle Undying team where the Undying just rushed Ags, so they just started like double decaying supports and then just soul ripping them because they'd have like 200 health at that point. It was, yeah, that safe lane lost pretty hard, and then the game shortly after.
You just double decay on a Terrorblade, and then he just has negative strength.
Yeah, actually, like, yeah, no, that looked like a fun lane. I should try it sometime. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm gonna call it here because we all do have things to do. But thank you all so much for joining us today on the quad. Final words. Start with you, Joe, and then we'll work to Andy and then to Tarask.
yeah, I'm glad CSL's doing this. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
This is fun. Andy has a good, or not Andy. Sorry, Andy. Zach, you have
Yes,
good
for
radio
you,
voice. That's my
Thanks,
final
man.
comment.
Appreciate
Good
it.
job. Next person.
All right, it's me? Okay. Well, watch out for Michigan, second half. Tulsa's still going to be crap. UCSC is still crap.
Whoa!
But Michigan's going to hit top 4. That's pretty much it.
All right,
Okay.
Tarask, save me from this filth.
Shout out to QT Ling, and yeah, I'm really hyped for the major and the end of Timbersaw and Ogre Magi and this really stagnant patch that we've had for 6 months.
Hey, this is a pretty good patch.
Yeah,
for,
it's a
like,
pretty
It's been a
good
great patch,
I
but I'm
want
just
a
sick
new
and tired of it.
I want to
Gotta
do
do
one.
one.
I'm ready for
Dota
a
3.
new one too.
Dota
Yeah,
3
so-
incoming. Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you next time on the quad. See you all next time. All right, we are offline.